Well, we're back talking about Shyamalan again.
Are we?
I guess it's a Shyamalani summer.
A Shyamalani
What did we say on the Watchers?
It
The
was
shimmy.
The shimmy. I think it was the shimmy.
I don't know. The shimmy ya.
Shimmy ya, shimmy yay.
Yeah, the shimmy lawn.
Give me the mic so I can take it away.
Yeah, some of these.
I would rather talk about Old Dirty Bastard than M. Night Shyamalan, to be honest
That's
with you.
fair. That's totally fair.
Yeah, why not?
But R.I.P. to ODB. Thank you for introducing this bit to us, but this was pointless. But we're back talking about Shyamalan, so
Yeah.
here we go, and let's just hope.
You just want to jump right into it.
Yeah, I mean, let's just hope that maybe we don't have to talk about Shyamalan for a while, because I think it would work in our favor and his favor.
Oh,
So-
wow. We already are showing how you care about the movie.
So, I mean, we'll get into it, but I think it'll just be nice to get some distance between us and him for a while.
You want to be single for a while.
I would like
You
to-
want to see other directors.
I would like to see other directors for a little bit.
Okay, fair. Why not?
So
I feel that
think
way about the presidency. I'm like, I kind of want to be single as a country for a while.
I think it would work in our favor.
I
Just
hope-
get to
yeah.
know ourselves as a country again.
Yes, yeah.
Instead of
And
relying
then
on.
I think we need just maybe let's see how we are in 4 years. And
4 years.
if we say okay,
We're ready.
we're ready to jump back into something. Let's evaluate some candidates for presidency.
Let's really evaluate that. But let's not even think about that for 4 years. Let's just
exactly.
really go on a break.
Yes,
Here for a
we need
while.
to find ourselves.
We actually, the fucked up thing is we really do.
Yeah, we're a little lost.
I think that could also be said about maybe Shyamalan in a lot of ways, because I think he should take some time off. I think what I learned the most about this movie is that I can easily now separate his daughter's film, The Watchers, from his style of filmmaking a lot more now.
So you feel like The Watchers was actually her hands-on. She was completely behind the wheel.
It felt less like a Shyamalan movie than something
good thing.
Shyamalan actually, like M. Night Shyamalan actually.
Good for her.
Yeah, seriously. I was like, that's the biggest compliment I can give
Hey,
The Watchers after
maybe-
watching this movie. And it's like, well, that definitely was not the kind of movie her father makes, for better or worse.
I think we were too hard on that movie. I think I was, because it.
I wouldn't say that. But.
Well, how many directors' first movies are great, right? Like, I think even
most of my favorite filmmakers.
no kidding.
Yeah.
James Cameron put out just a terrible B movie about piranhas or
That's
something.
That's true.
You know, and then he goes on to make like just huge blockbusters. So.
That's true. I just rewatched Aliens like last night.
No kidding.
Yeah, I'm kind of gearing up for Romulus, so I'm trying I'm trying to start getting my rewatches. That movie's fucking great. I think it's my favorite James Cameron movie.
Well, Aliens is just a action movie.
It really is.
Alien is, to me, almost like a haunted house B movie.
It's a very haunted house movie. I know,
Yeah.
like some of we'll talk about that on the Alien episode.
Sure.
But like, I love Alien still. So that was I literally came home from Trap and I was just like, you know what? I need to watch
A
Aliens.
palate cleanser.
I need something.
I need to watch a
vastly
good movie.
different. You know, we're just gonna get into this here.
Why not? Yeah, we fucked up the intro.
Hello, everybody. This is the Loose Leaf Media Podcast. My name is Davis Leaf. I'm here with my co-host.
Romanus.
And today we are here to talk about M. Night Shyamalan's new movie, Trap, which is... It's his first movie. He's like his last movie was like a year and a half ago, last February, I think, when Knock at the Cabin.
Oh, Knock at the Cabin. Okay.
came out, which was decent. It was better, but I think what Trap does is really solidify this like weird trilogy in Shyamalan's career, from old Knock at the Cabin and now this.
Okay.
Where I just feel like these three movies are so offbeat in almost every single way that it just makes me feel like I think these three movies work as their own kind of like side quest when watching M. Night Shyamalan movies.
Offbeat as individual movies, or offbeat from what he's done from his original work?
Both. I think, because the other
it's
night
just offbeat.
They feel very offbeat, and so I rewatched The Sixth Sense like a few days ago as well, because I was like, I wanted to get some sort of like refresher on Shyamalan.
Yeah,
and during that period in his career, he was really making strong movies, tearjerker movies, I think, that related to the human condition, from The Sixth Sense to Unbreakable to Signs and to The Village. Those 4 movies are so great at exploring something relating to the human experience, and conceptually, they're all so different from one another, and they execute those premises extremely well. I honestly really did forget how good The Sixth Sense really is.
Yeah.
It's a very emotional movie.
Absolutely.
It's very slow.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty dialogue heavy as well. There's a lot of in-camera work, and I think his direction on that film is still to this very day spectacular. And obviously, the last 10 minutes are very soul-crushing in a lot of ways, but it works very well for the plot. And it's a really, those 4 movies are very well executed. And then things obviously started to shift after The Village, I think, came out with Lady in the Water, The Happening, and then The Last Airbender was probably peak low.
My goodness.
Just peak low point for Shyamalan, which I'm grateful.
Low point for everybody.
Right, yeah, literally. That was like offensive to everybody.
I
Not just people that like M. Night Shyamalan.
I tried watching that movie a few years ago because the cartoon The Last Airbender came on Netflix, and it was just huge.
Yeah.
And then I guess Netflix decided to put M. Night's movie version on their platform too. And I had never seen it when it came out as a kid, and I tried watching it as an adult, and I turned it off the first 15 minutes. I could not finish it, man. It was grueling.
That's so real, because like that's not good, but like even as a kid when you're watching it, and you're sitting there and you basically have a much less sense of quality when it comes to like the things you're consuming on screen, because you're just looking for entertainment more so as a kid. I wanted to walk out of that theater so bad, and I saw it in theaters, and I was for a friend's birthday party. But I wanted to see it because at the time, even as a kid, I really liked M. Night Shyamalan movies.
Right.
But I saw that movie and I'm like, this is horrible. This is just terrible and boring. And as somebody that hasn't even seen the Last Airbender series at that time, I was very familiar with like how a lot of the source material was executed and operated. And so the minute they started pronouncing Aang as Ong, I was like, something's off about that. And I've heard other people describe it as like culturally correct and at times too. And I know that Netflix also produced a live action series of it recently, and I don't know how that's been executed very much.
Some people like it, some people don't. But
but I did not like that movie, and I think that was peak low for M. Night Shyamalan. And I'm grateful that it never got that bad ever again in terms of his career.
I don't know,
but it never, like, there were times where it definitely got tremendously better, particularly with The Village, The Visit and Split.
And Split.
Yeah. I think those are also very high points in his career, where it was like, okay, we're getting back to it. But after that, we had Glass, Old, Knock at the Cabin, and now Trap. And I'm just like, I don't know if we're ever going to get to that high point in the early days of his career ever again.
Well, before we really get into the review, I'll just say for me, I don't see your affection for M. Night Shyamalan, man. I like The Sixth Sense. The Happening is probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And in a good way. I actually was laughing a lot during that movie. I actually
read a very interesting review about The Happening recently.
Send it to me. I'll check it out.
I will. I found it fascinating, and it compelled me to want to do a rewatch of it at some point.
If you can convince me that The Happening has something to it, has some good qualities, I would love to.
You'd probably appreciate what this review had to say about it.
I would love to be to have a newfound experience. But it was a fucking piece of shit when I saw it. Yeah. And I sometimes I feel like M. Night Shyamalan, I don't know if I want to say overrated, but damn, I think we're at the point where he's put out more bad movies than good movies.
I might have to agree with you on that.
Well, if you make a list of
like I said, those 4 movies from Sixth Sense to The Village, I think are all spectacular.
Okay.
Almost every facet about every one of those movies to me is spectacular.
Okay.
Unbreakable is obviously my favorite, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Right.
But I think Sixth Sense, The Village, and Signs are all so good in their own unique ways.
Okay.
But after that point, The Visit and Split, again, are very good, and I really enjoy those movies a lot. But I think you are right, where I think his bad works might eclipse his good work at this point. Even like the ones that are just kind of middle of the range are like that you just have mixed feelings on. Because I have mixed feelings on Trap.
Well, let's get into that. I'll read a summary.
Please do, yeah.
Okay. From the director that brought you cinematic classics such as After Earth and The Happening.
You're an asshole. That was great, though.
Thank you.
He should lean into it with his marketing more. People
Yeah,
might
fuck
actually
it.
enjoy,
Fuck
like,
it.
might buy into it a little
Yeah.
bit more now if they
Why
just
not?
said, fuck it.
He should. I make shitty movies. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I make whatever I want.
You're still here, aren't
Exactly.
you? You're
Yeah,
still going to go see it.
Yeah. It'd be like the Octavia Spencer from The Help. Like, you just ate my shit.
Yeah, pretty
You just-
much.
Yeah, like, just own up to it. That's a great movie. From the director that brought you cinematic classics such as The Last Airbender and After Earth, M. Night Shyamalan presents Trap. Cooper Adams takes his daughter Riley to a pop star's concert, unaware that the FBI is planning to catch a serial killer known as the Butcher at the venue. As chaos unfolds, Cooper reveals himself to be the Butcher, using his cunning to evade capture. Davis, what did you think of Trap?
That's a really strong premise. Like, when you lay it out like that, it's a strong premise. And it lends itself to the idea that I was talking about in The Watchers, where Shyamalan is a concept artist. And that's the biggest draw with any one of his films, is he presents a really interesting idea to you, and you just want to see how he executes it and how it all plays out.
Right.
I was almost going to laugh when you were reading that. I was like, he really is just called the Butcher, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's kind of a lame major serial killer name.
You could have just stopped it. It's kind of lame.
It's lit. So
It's
like,
just it's
what city did this take place in?
Is
it? Did they?
It was supposed to be Philly, but
yeah, you're right.
But
it was, yeah.
let the podcast listeners know we were in Philly a few weeks ago. You and I, Davis, and I immediately looked at the movies like that doesn't look like Philly.
Didn't look like Philly,
the street signs didn't
I'm
look
not gonna
American.
lie. Like you probably know this. Yeah, maybe I don't know where it was filmed, but maybe
it was
in,
filmed in Ontario.
I was gonna say, was it Canada?
It was
It
Canada.
looked exactly like the architecture of it all. I was like, this look like Canadian streets.
Yeah, we've been in Philly, and it didn't look like Philly.
No, that was not Philly for a second.
Why couldn't? Was it just maybe it was cheaper to shoot in Canada?
Maybe.
I don't know, but
I don't know. Tax breaks.
Sure, why not?
But good job, you Shyamalan, you cheap fuck. So, so I want to like I like doing this more. I want to talk about the positives, things I liked about this movie first, because, like I said, I'm pretty mixed on it. I didn't love it,
Right.
but there were things I liked about the movie. So,
Okay.
First of all, I want to say, where did I put my notes? So, Josh Hartnett was great. I thought he was phenomenal in this movie. One of his best performances he's ever given. And you can tell that he spent a lot of time actually studying the mannerisms and characteristics of the way serial killers behave. Like right down to the twitchiness and just like the fast-paced thinking and his very awkward, his social awkwardness a lot of the time. And I'm just like, yeah, he's acting weird. He's acting like a serial killer.
Yeah.
And so I think he absolutely nails it. He really did, I think, give one of his best performances. I thought he was wonderful in this movie. And I think I would say that about a lot of leads in Shyamalan movies, even when they're not great films. Like in Knock at the Cabin, Batista was phenomenal in that
Mark
movie.
Wahlberg
Yeah,
and
don't patronize me.
in The
Just
Happening.
kidding. What? No.
What? No. He's talking to the plants.
What? No.
We're just gonna grab our things. He's talking to grass. Like,
Yeah.
We're gonna go.
And we're just gonna leave.
We're just gonna leave. He's talking to a pot.
And it was just like, was that a plastic plant?
Yeah, it was a rubber plant.
But no, Batista was good in Knock at the Cabin. Sam Jackson and McAvoy were really good in Glass, even though I didn't care for that movie either. And then this, I thought Hartnett was great in the lead role. So I was really enjoying him, and luckily it's pretty much all from his point of view, so that kept most of my interest, at least watching his performance.
Yeah, while you're on that, I'll agree. I think he was the shining star in this movie. He goes just through a lot of different moods, right? Because this is a character that's under a lot of pressure. Like, he's there with his daughter, and actually, that's the first thing we see is Josh Hartnett playing Cooper Adams, or the Butcher, and his daughter, who's played by Ariel Donahue, and I bought their relationship.
Their chemistry's good.
Movie.
Their chemistry's really good in the movie.
Very good. Yeah, I liked her a lot too, because she
was good. Yeah,
she came off really well. I liked most of the leads.
Yeah, the cast is solid.
Most of the cast.
Yeah,
we'll get into that.
We'll get into I'm sure that we have a
I'm excited.
Ooh, a little scandalous
I'm
here.
Shit on this motherfucking movie. Ooh. No,
we're building tension right now. It's just like, because we're about to dump. There's gonna be a dump truck of shit that comes out here.
But specifically Josh Hartnett, like, there's scenes where he goes, like, he's serial killer, trying to, like, his eyes are darting around trying to find anything he
and it's
can.
like twitching when he's like looking around.
Yeah,
like, again, like, Shyamalan's really good at close-ups too, and he has a lot of great close-ups in this movie too.
And then, for sure, there's the one close-up where he's in the concert hall and it's just red light, and it just focuses on Josh Hartnett's face. I loved that shot.
Beautiful shot.
Yeah.
There was a lot of scenes where it, like, cuts off half of his face in the frame, and you just see, like, one eye looking around, and either looking for some sort of exit strategy or looking at the chaos that he caused.
Yeah.
And then the other side of the frame is just showcasing a lot of the background, like, drama that's happening.
Yeah.
Like, they're really, really well composed shots. And that's the other thing, is I think the cinematography in this movie is spectacular.
Well,
it looks great.
No, but I wanted to say about Josh Hartnett how I liked just the different moods that he has to demonstrate in this movie. So at one point, he's acting as a person who works at the concert venue.
Yeah.
And then there's points where he's interacting with his daughter, and you do buy, this is, even though they're telling us that he's a serial killer, and we haven't seen a lot of that.
Yeah.
I believe that he's a present father, because he's really in love with his daughter. Like, their affection's great. There's a part of the movie where he has to interact with one of his daughter's friend's mother. Oh, God. And actually,
that was wonderful. I love those. Yeah. I wanted more of those exchanges, because I was like, ooh, drama.
I liked how, even though you could tell he was annoyed with her, not only because he's trying to escape this, the FBI, but because he does not like this person, and he's annoyed with how this woman's daughter's treated his daughter. I could tell that this is, like, he was trying to handle it in an adult way.
He actually cares.
He does care.
But at the same time doesn't want to draw attention to him.
He doesn't want to draw, right? Like, there's so many emotions that Josh Hartnett exudes. So I absolutely agree.
His performance and his character
the
has
best
a lot
part
of
of this
good
movie
layers,
to me.
For sure. I thought the cinematography was fantastic. As somebody that has gone to many concerts, I think Shyamalan captures the concert experience perfectly in this movie.
I would agree with that.
Like, perfectly. There's a shot in the movie that was so great where Lady Raven was literally on the stage and saying, like, if you forgive somebody, put a phone light in the air.
Yeah.
And then all the phone lights start turning out, and then, like, we start kind of zooming out of Hartnett's character as he's looking around the entire stadium and seeing everything lighting up with phone lights. And I was like, this is gorgeous. This is shot so well, and this is exactly how it looks when these kinds of moments happen in stadium concerts.
And no, I agree with you. And a lot of those shots are from the perspective of Josh Hartnett and his daughter in the movie. So it's not like a wide shot where it just takes you out.
Exactly.
Like, and there's a lot of shots where you see the stage and you see Lady Raven performing. A lot of those shots, actually. Yeah. We'll get into that. Yeah. But I do like how you see the people raising their phones and taking, recordings on their phones, video recordings on their phones of the concert. So you can you're seeing the performer, but you're also seeing the fucking back of,
Yeah.
like people's phone screens, which is sometimes annoying, but it is realistic.
Of course.
I used to work at the United Center in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
And
I remember you told me stories
I've,
about that.
seen Lady Gaga and Katy Perry working there. So,
That's awesome.
this movie did remind me of, oh, yeah, I used to, like, be one of those people that had to work at a concert like this. Like, this does feel very familiar.
It's very authentic in that
Yeah.
way. But, and so I guess the last thing that I would admire about the movie as well, it's kind of a hybrid. I like there's a lot of dry humor in this movie that I actually found pretty funny. I think it works well. And Shyamalan's not really stranger to that kind of dry humor, but I think for this movie it worked well because I don't know why, but in a lot of movies about serial killers, there's always a lot of dry humor to it. I don't know why they do that, but Longlegs had that a little bit this year too. And
even The Killer with
yeah,
Michael
The Killer had
Fassbender.
a lot of dry humor in it.
Yeah.
And that was probably one of the biggest highlights of that movie to me. And I loved that movie. But this also has dry humor. And that also kept me entertained throughout the first half of the movie. And the minute that they leave the concert is during the second half of the movie is where it was just kind of all downhill for me. And that's where a lot of my positives kind of stop. And that's where I was like, yep, this script is a mess. And I can't any longer with the dialogue at this point. And I was checking out. And it suffers from that, what do they call it? Like multiple endings syndrome, where it feels like the movie ends like 12 different times, or is about to end 12 different times, and then it just keeps going.
Yeah.
And then it keeps going. And then it, here we go. Oh, keep going. And I'm like, can we just wrap this up? This movie should have ended 20 minutes ago. Like, this story had nothing new to say after that point, or nothing interesting to say. And I was like, it's weird that the movie shifts gears halfway through when it just decides to leave the concert. And have you seen Wes Craven's Red Eye?
No.
Okay. Great thriller with Cillian Murphy and Rachel McAdams.
I'm already sold.
It's great.
Okay.
It's a great, and the premise of that movie is that this woman is on this plane with seated next to a guy played by Cillian Murphy, and Rachel McAdams plays the woman, and she is being held hostage by Cillian Murphy and says that you need to do this because I am a terrorist. And you need to make this phone call from this plane so that this person can gain access to this position where he could commit a terrorist act. And only she was the person that was able to grant access to this guy's, Cillian Murphy's person. And it all takes place on that plane, except for like the last 10 to 15 minutes, which kind of relegates itself to a house where there's like a little bit of a slasher chase it turns into. But it's only like the last 10 minutes of the movie.
Right.
But most of the attention is relegated to that plane, and it works really well. Wes Craven's direction in that movie is great, and it's also very concise. It's only an hour and 30-minute long movie. This movie does almost the same thing, only the entire last part of Red Eye would be like the entire second half of this movie, where I just thought the most of the movie was going to be at the concert and him trying to get out of the concert venue, but he gets out like halfway through the movie somehow, that I won't say until we get to spoilers. But then the movie just completely shifts gears and becomes very unoriginal and kind of boring at that point.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you said. Besides Josh Hartnett, I don't have anything positive to say about this movie. But I think that if you've seen the trailer for this movie, you've seen the first half.
You've seen the first, like, because that's what they're selling it as.
Yeah.
And they try to make you think that, like, I was getting the impression that the second half of this movie was supposed to catch me off guard in terms of the direction, but it wasn't really that unpredictable. And
It wasn't that unpredictable, and it wasn't fulfilling. And
not in the slightest.
To be honest with you, I definitely wanted a lot more Josh Hartnett just trying to figure out ways to escape the venue.
That's what I'm saying.
Because even though I liked his performance, the writing limits him. It feels like Josh Hartnett is just doing the best that he can as a consummate professional to just work with the script that he has, right? And it's up to, like, I just feel like I wanted to see more of our just cunning, vicious serial killer trying to do whatever he can to sabotage his concert so he can get the fuck out.
Like, the first half is very, like, straightforward cat and mouse chasing.
Yeah.
But it's balancing just the right amount of his intelligence getting him out of this and just the right amount of luck helping him out with it. And then the second half of the movie, it just feels like all dumb luck constantly.
Oh, just dumb.
Like, he didn't have to put any thought into any of his actions during the entire second half of the movie because the script had it all laid out for him, essentially. And that's what made it just so lazy to me. Where the first movie just feels like, I don't know how he's going to get out of this. I can't predict where this is going to go. And I'm invested for that reason. And I expected most of the movie to feel like that.
Well, you bring up a point where things just start happening for him. I'm going to say something slightly related. This movie depends a lot on exposition to progress the plot.
Yeah.
Perfect example from the fucking trailer. Josh Hartnett goes up to a venue worker.
Yeah, the black dude.
And he's like, hey, what's going on with all the police?
They set a trap.
Hey,
you know
bro.
Butcher?
You know the butcher? Hey, man. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. You know the butcher? The motherfucker that be cutting motherfuckers up?
Chopping people up.
He chopping people up. They set a trap for him. It's a trap, nigga.
That was just as funny in the movie as it was in the trailer. That guy was so unintentionally funny in this movie. But I was just like, this guy's dialogue is so horrible.
It's fucking horrible, and his delivery is also like just so animated.
It is, right?
It takes me out of the movie, and I roll my eyes. It's like, and also just it's lazy. It would have been great if Josh Hartnett figures out in his own way. Oh, literally. They're trying to catch me somehow. They're trying to catch me.
Yeah.
Unfortunate, and also it's just unrealistic. Like it opens up a lot of questions for me. Like, why would the FBI tell these venue workers that they're looking for this butcher?
Yeah.
Why would this worker be telling just anybody that they're looking for the this serial killer?
Yeah.
Right? Like that's why the FBI wouldn't tell the venue workers. They would just say, hey, there's gonna be a huge police presence. If you're in this meeting, we vetted you. Hold these cards. That's all you need to know.
More than likely, they just feel like, don't worry. We're just, we just standard security. We just have a thing happening.
Exactly. Don't be alarmed. We just have a ton of security because we, have a, packed crowd.
Exactly.
No, like we're gonna tell. Why the fuck?
And then give everybody code words and shit.
Why the fuck does the motherfucker holding the popcorn need to know that the FBI is looking for the butcher?
I know.
Why?
I don't know.
Why would you? Yeah. Why would you even tell Lady Raven?
Like the.
Like Lady Raven got the FBI jacket on and shit.
That was so great.
like Taylor Swift trying to catch the fucking Unabomber.
Well, that's what made it. Okay, that was the moment for me where this was just like, this is so off the rails now. This is in complete camp territory, and I actually like camp. I don't mind a little bit of camp in movies, especially for like horror thrillers and things like that. James Wan's *Malignant* came out a few years ago, and it breathed a lot of new life into campy horror films, and I thought that movie was spectacular. That movie was creepy, it was violent, it was original, but its execution was incredibly campy, but it was the intention of that movie. And I think it was the intention of Shyamalan's, like in Trap as well. But it's not balancing that well. No. Because I can deal with a lot of Shyamalan's clunky dialogue and the silliness of it all. But there just came a point where it's like, this movie has intentional dry humor, but most of this movie is just kind of funny. Because the dialogue and the way characters speak is so absurd and ridiculous in this entire movie. And I'm like, I just can't. And especially during that second half of the movie when Lady Raven kind of gets involved a little bit more. And
like the movie, besides Josh Hartnett, the movie wasn't completely selling me. But I was into it. I was involved, but it completely falls off at the midway when when you basically, let's just get into spoilers.
So my recommendation for this movie would be like, it's very half and half. Like mostly made for like Shyamalan fans or people that like, I don't know, serial killer thrillers.
Right.
You might enjoy this. I don't know. I don't think it's the worst movie that I've seen Shyamalan make, but it's like, it's not great. I didn't love it. I'm probably not going to watch it again anytime soon. Mm-hmm. But you'll get a lot of enjoyment of Josh Hartnett's performance, I think, in this movie. But so for that, I mean, what do you think? Do you have any?
My recommendation, when I was writing notes for the review, I thought to myself, I fantasized about coming in here and shitting all over M. Night Shyamalan, but this movie it's not so bad that it's good and we can like joke around and have fun, and I mean we're still gonna do that, but
I think once we talk about spoilers, we can really emphasize how it can come off as a so bad it's good movie.
But I mean it doesn't even deserve my hatred. I feel like I think don't see it. Just go see Deadpool and Wolverine if you already haven't. Like, there's other good stuff to see. Yeah, I mean, House of the Dragon.
Like, if you want
go for a walk.
Again, if you want a serial killer thriller, just watch Long Legs, for the love of God.
Watch almost any of the thriller, because this also is a PG-13 movie.
It was so... Okay, so we're going to transition into spoilers. Transitioning into spoilers here. So it was very tame. I was like forgetting halfway through the movie. I'm like, there's not a lot of violence happening or actual gratuitousness to this, and I'm like, is this movie PG-13? Why did I think this movie was R?
Besides the little booby trap that he set in the fryer, I feel like there's no violence in this movie.
And that didn't even show the impact of it.
It didn't show the impact.
We saw a little bit of the aftermath, and that was probably the most violent imagery in the entire movie.
You see the lady that he hurt shaking in the ambulance bed.
And that was about as violent as it gets in this movie.
Yeah.
And then at the end, like, Josh Hartnett takes his shirt off, has his butcher cleaver.
The cleaver.
With him,
oh my god.
And it's just like seconds away from murdering Alison Pill. And I'm like, you know, this guy's clearly insane, but I'm just sitting there thinking, it's like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh god, Josh Hartnett's taking his shirt off. This is the literal definition of Mr. Steal Your Girl right here, by the way. Josh Hartnett's a good looking guy.
Okay.
But I'm just sitting there wondering, why did he take his shirt off?
I was thinking that too.
What did he do that for? I actually don't get it.
Because we're at the end of the movie and he confronts his wife. Maybe we should talk about that a bit later, but he's confronting his wife and he's about to kill his wife. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe he doesn't want to get his shirt dirty? I don't know.
Yeah, he does have OCD. He does have that OCD quality to him. But
I
don't know. I don't feel like it was like notable enough, or just like nothing was spelled out enough for you, especially like, which is ironic because this movie does have a lot of exposition, like you said.
It's man, I'm calling that black guy the exposition Negro from now on. I'm not. They said his name, but I'm.
And then he appears at the very end in the mid-credits moment.
Oh shit!
That was so dumb.
That's that motherfucker that I saw at work.
I've seen things like that a million times too, like at like end credit scenes of one guy that was in the face of danger when they didn't know it, and then they flash back to him, and they're like, "Oh shit! Oh shit!
Oh shit!
Oh, rat!"
Why do directors do that to? Not every black guy talks like that.
I know.
There's like a black guy in a white people movie.
Yeah.
And it's like even in Superman. Oh shit, nigga, that's a nice cake. It's a pimp with a hat, and he sees Superman like do some shit. He's like, damn, nigga, that's a nice cake. He didn't say the N word, but like
he was thinking it.
He was thinking it. He was like, oh, I'm in a Superman movie. Like why bro, remember what's the Jason movie where they're in New York?
Oh, Jason Takes Manhattan.
Is that really what the title is?
That's what it's called, yeah. Jason.
Fuck, I haven't seen that movie.
I know what you mean. I know this.
It's like, damn, motherfucker, where you get that hockey mask? There's like, what?
What's so great about that movie? See, that's a campy movie. But that movie is very much leaning into its campiness because it's ridiculous. It's just Jason being a total asshole in a city of assholes.
Yeah. That movie, now that I'm thinking about it, it also was shot in Toronto.
What?
It was shot in Canada.
Was Jason taking that hat and shot in Canada?
It was shot in Canada.
That's crazy.
Well, it don't look like New York.
I haven't seen that in for so long. It probably would. That would probably track if I rewatched it. But
yeah.
I did not know that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But Trap is so. Pretty much, for most of the first half of this movie, I have most of my positive thoughts lay there. I was enjoying the setup. I was enjoying all of what's happening in the concert. I was invested, and then Lady Raven becomes a character in the movie.
Bro, okay, finally we can talk about that because in the first half, there were parts of it that I was enjoying.
Yeah.
The performances by Josh Hartnett and his daughter in the movie.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of cuts to Lady Raven,
Yeah.
which we haven't said yet, but Lady Raven is played by Salika Shyamalan.
M. Night's daughter.
Yes.
And I'll say I like the music. I thought the music was really solid. They released a full album for it.
They released
today.
an album for Trap.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all by Salika. Like it's her, technically her debut album.
And you know what? In the title credits, they say original music by Salika Shyamalan.
And I listened to a couple of tracks off the album. It's good. I actually like it. I like her style. I like her vocals. It's pretty standard R&B like subject matter, but vocals and the production are really good. It's so funny because Russ and Kid Cudi appeared in this movie.
Kid Cudi is in the movie.
The second that Russ appeared, I was like, I should probably walk out now. Yeah. I was like, I hate that guy.
And he comes out of the fucking ground.
Comes out of the fucking ground. And I was just like, he should have stayed in the ground.
Yeah.
I can't stand Russ.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I need to get the fuck out of this theater right now.
No,
and then Kid Cudi showed up doing the most flamboyant thing ever.
Yeah, Kid Cudi's wearing a white wig.
That made me laugh for the couple of lines he had in this movie. I was like, that's so ridiculous.
Well, there's the one part where he's like checking out Josh Hartnett and he's just like swishing his ass away.
And he just like winks at him and I was like, that's funny.
And well, it just, the shot stayed on too long and it just made me feel like, yeah, this is fucking camp and I hate this movie.
It was very camp and it was just very much just like, hey, that's Kid Cudi. Look, Kid Cudi has a lot of homoeroticism towards fucking Josh Hartnett like anybody would. It's like, I get it. That's funny. That's really funny. But and doesn't like Russ like pass by his daughter and like winks at her?
But he doesn't say a lot. He only sings.
But like it was weird that he like walked past his daughter and winked at her.
I actually didn't mind his cameo.
Because he doesn't say anything.
He doesn't say anything, so it does feel like a guest star.
I just hate Russ. I was like, damn, really? You could have gotten anybody.
I wish we reviewed Salika's album instead of this movie. I think that would have been a more positive.
It probably would, because like I said, I like the music. I like that. I just when
she plays a prominent part in the second half of this movie,
and that's just what did not work for me.
In the trailer, I'm thinking, if this is the premise for this movie, that a serial killer's at a concert and you happen to have a daughter who is singer-songwriter, why not have her in the movie? Like, what's wrong?
That's when the nepotism just went too far. That's when and because I don't want to say it, but it's actually how I feel. I didn't think she was that good.
No.
When she became a real character.
Yeah.
Like when she's on the stage, she was singing well. She's acting like a pop star.
Why not?
She's doing what she has to do for the movie.
Yeah.
And then she becomes a character.
Yes.
Like with actual, plot attached to her.
No, bro.
And it just did not work for me at all.
And
she's in the movie a lot during the second half.
Not only is she the character, she's the hero of the movie. She's the reason why they catch.
Yeah.
No, not kind of, Davis. She's the reason why they catch the butcher.
Yeah.
And in the trailer, I'm thinking, most of this movie, it's like you said with Red Eye, most of this movie, they're going to be in the concert venue. He's going to be like trying to figure out ways to get out of here. Mm-hmm. And then the last 15 minutes, he's maybe going to find a way, or maybe he gets shot outside the concert venue.
It's like another 45 minutes of the movie after they leave the concert.
And it's a significant part of it is from her perspective. Mm-hmm. And I mean,
it does shift perspective, doesn't it? Right when she really enters the movie and escorts them out against her will. I like that moment initially when he goes up to her and he's like, "Can I talk to you in private?" And he's like, "So you caught me." That tension in that moment was solid, but it was just because it was Josh Hartnett riffing, and he was doing a good job at really selling himself as a threat. And I was just like, ooh, this is crazy. But then I didn't really think it was going to go that far beyond that. And then they get in the car and they're driving away. And she's like, can I see your house? And I'm like, God damn it.
No, when my hand covered my mouth when she said that. And I'm like, oh no, we're going to have more of her. The nepotism can't stop.
I know.
No.
I was just like,
Davis.
I'm okay with her having her own music in the movie. She was like, she served her role well.
Right.
For the first half of the movie.
Right.
I did not mind her at all. I thought she was a solid presence, and I was respecting Shyamalan. Like, she's playing her role really well at this point. And even Shyamalan has his traditional cameo at one point in the movie.
Yeah.
And he, as her uncle. And I'm just like, why don't you just say you're her dad?
Yeah.
Like, you're already in the movie
I would have respected that more.
I know.
It would
have been kind of meta and funny if he's just like, oh, I'm her dad.
I wish he said, I'm her dad, and he just looked at the camera.
This movie was so campy. I don't know why he didn't just say, like, just be her fucking dad. So, yeah.
No, I want to even go further. During the movie, when there's trucks driving to the venue, if you look closely, and I had to look back at the trailer to see this, because the shot's in the trailer too. There's a poster board for the Watchers.
No fucking way.
Yes, there is. I can show it to you, because I was like, did anyone else see this? But yeah, I found it on Twitter. Because during the movie, it flashes on like, did that just say the Watchers?
Yeah.
I go back and look. You know, I'm going to show it to you. Let me look through my phone.
That is so amazing,
but
though.
He finds a way to incorporate both of his daughters into this movie. And it made me, just in the first half where I'm having fun, there's a lot of long shots of his daughter performing her music. Yeah. And I'm thinking, fuck, like, he's maybe putting on too much exposure onto her. I feel like we should be seeing Josh Hartnett more.
Yeah,
because
I know what you mean.
Even though this is a thriller by definition and by advertisement, it doesn't feel thrilling. No. Because the story's just everywhere. Like, I think there's obviously so much emphasis on Lady Raven throughout that first half on stage, because she was going to be a character in the second half. Sure.
And so the movie wants to make it clear that you should be paying attention to this person that's on stage, to, like, doing their thing. But it's one of those things where it's like, you didn't need her to be a character in the second half, and you could have trimmed down the amount of screen time she's getting even on stage during the first half. Okay. Holy shit, that's crazy.
Yeah. I saw it in the movie because I was so close to the screen.
Wow.
It's like, there's no way I just saw that.
So, there you have it.
Watchers poster.
This has been a very interesting Shyamalan summer, hasn't it?
And I
remember it for that reason.
There's been a lot of talk about nepotism in Hollywood. I actually don't mind nepotism. If I had kids, I would try to, if they were interested in my work, I would try to incorporate them as much as possible.
Most of the time, I don't either.
Right? But when it's bad, you're gonna get criticized.
When it's noticeably bad, and it's just like, there's no reason. Like, it's, I respect Shyamalan. He's putting his girls on. That's great. Ishana did not do it for me with their direction on The Watchers. And Salika was working for me until she started really acting in the movie.
Well, and
I was like, this is kind of one part not great, not the worst performance I've seen, but not great, and also one part distracting because it's so much screen time from his daughter.
Well, it's shameless nepotism. I felt just embarrassed for him. Yeah. Because his daughter isn't the best actor. And like, Sofia Coppola was in Godfather 3, right?
Yeah, and she's one of the best parts of that movie.
Right. So no one will complain if you're good. And I liked her performances on, like, it actually was a decent production for the concert. Like, the dancers were cool, the lights were cool. But man, M. Night just leaned too much into, you never want the real life relationship to take away from the movie.
Yeah. It was just distracting. And like you had said before, it actually switched perspective when she became a character on screen. Like, it was taking place from her perspective. There's that moment where she locks herself in the bathroom and she's just like trying to hightail it out of there and call for help. And I'm like, this is all from her point of view. Yeah. And I'm like, why?
What? Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
I don't care.
And she gets on like the whatever Facebook Live or Instagram Live or whatever, and she's like, "Hey, does anyone live by a statue of a lion that's broken and a house with a blue door?" What? A house with a blue door? And then there's some random black girl's like, "Oh, I have both of those things in the whole city of Philadelphia. That's like, really Toronto or Ontario."
Yeah.
Man, the writing just is abysmal.
It just fell off so hard during that second half of the movie, and I was like, what the hell is going on?
They needed exposition, Negro.
They really did.
Yeah.
he jumped off the movie after that point too. But so then Salika, she gets him caught essentially. He gets surrounded around the house. He makes a swift exit. He kidnaps her again for ultimately no reason, because he just gets caught again in 2 seconds. And then he just runs away. Yeah,
wouldn't he just... wouldn't he just find a way to escape instead of trying to kill this pop star?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, why is she still in the fucking movie at this
point? Because her last name is Shyamalan.
It would have been... Yeah, well, yeah. But it's just and then, his daughter just completely disappears.
Yeah.
In favor of Salika at that point. And I'm like, I want more dynamic still between his daughter and him, because at the very, very end of the movie, when he's getting taken away in cuffs, his daughter comes back, runs up to him, gives him a huge hug, and it's still compelling, because I'm just like, this is kind of sad. This is tragic. Well, because I really bought the chemistry and the relationship between the butcher and his daughter, and she now has to see him for the monster that she is, but, that relationship isn't broken so easily, and the movie establishes that very quickly at the start of the film, and it's like, that was sad. Where she kind of just disappeared throughout the second half and takes a back seat to Salika.
That moment that you're talking about, where they have a final embrace before he's taken away by the police, I did like that moment too, but only because of those two actors. It's nothing that the story does.
No, yeah.
Like the conversations that Josh Hartnett's having with the daughter in the movie are pretty cool, and they feel more realistic, where she's trying to teach him different slang, and he's just like...
Even the dialogue for those moments is so clunky.
I actually kind of liked it.
It was so funny.
Well, if you're talking...
These seats slap, Dad. That's how people talk.
Yeah.
It's just the way that it's written just always sounds so inorganic. It just sounds like Shyamalan writing this out to sound relatable.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
But sometimes I cringe when I hear teenagers slang.
Oh, everybody does. I give him a lot of credit, but that's why it was it was so clunky and dry that it came off as funny.
Sure.
I was like, because he's like, ooh, these are crispy or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, he was like, these are fried or whatever. Instead of I don't know. Yeah, I've never heard anyone say these things are crispy. I've never heard that, but I don't know.
I don't know if that's a thing.
I don't know.
I don't care.
Yeah.
So the very ending. So I guess also one of the kind of sucky things about this movie is it's a Shyamalan movie that doesn't have its signature twist to it whatsoever.
Well, it kind of does.
Does it?
It tries.
It
wasn't a great twist.
Like with the wife,
yes,
who we didn't really hear anything about until she appears.
But that's what I'm talking about with exposition. We should have had the exposition Negro just walk into the house.
It's like, she set the trap.
She set the trap, bro.
It was her.
You know your wife? The blonde
chick. She set a trap.
The blonde chick from Newsroom? Well, she set a trap for the butcher. That's you. Hey, you know the xenomorphs? The big-ass aliens that's chasing y'all?
They're here, too.
They're here.
And they set... a trap.
Hey, you know Rosebud? The last words of Charles Kane?
Citizen Kane.
Well, it was his sled. Hey, you know Voldemort? That nigga with no nose? He's got these Horcruxes. This is just lazy writing.
It was. Okay, I guess you could say that was the twist, but there was no tissue to set that up. There was no telling that was going to be the case, because the wife doesn't have a character in the movie whatsoever. And then for some reason, at the very ending, Alison Pill is acting her ass off during that scene.
And I'm
just sitting here, I don't care. I don't care about any of this that's happening because I don't know who this character is, and this screenplay, like you said, is abysmal at this point. But she is acting her ass off, and I'm like, this is annoying.
Yes,
this is kind of sad.
I agree with you that besides Shyamalan's daughter, Lady Raven. I was about to say Lady Kane. Yeah. Lady Raven. Besides Lady Raven, I bought pretty much every single performance in this movie except for Exposition Negro. Yeah. But because he doesn't
have a character other than to give exposition
to be Exposition Negro.
He also felt like Lil Rel Howery from Get Out a lot more, but substantially less funny and interesting.
Well, he also has a role in the movie.
He actually has a point in the movie. He's the guy that comes in and saves him at the end and has like one of the most satisfying bits at the end. Just like, man, I told you not to go in that house. Maybe stay away from those white people.
Maybe Exposition Negro should have been more incorporated. Maybe he should have catched the butcher.
Right? Maybe. This is gonna be this. I guarantee you, in the future, this is gonna become a new stereotype, like akin to like the black guy always dies in horror and shit. Yeah. And now it's just like Exposition Negro, like you said, and that's gonna be fun to watch.
God damn. Hey, you ever heard of Freddy Krueger? The motherfucker with the knives on his fingers?
Well, if you're in Dreamland, he set a trap for you.
If you go to sleep, he gonna trap your ass.
You know how many times I've actually searched for that gif of him just being like, they set a trap.
They set a trap.
I'm gonna find that gif and I'm gonna use it for everything.
It's just oh like, God. They set a trap.
So, yeah, I don't think that there was really a twist in the ending of this movie. And I was actually half expecting the movie to end with the twist that it was his daughter that was the serial killer. And he was protecting her the entire time.
That would have been...
And I was kind of mad that I thought about that while watching this movie and was like, that would kind of be sick.
Or maybe
I would see it coming because I've thought about it, but that would be kind of good.
Or maybe they were partners.
Yeah, something like that. Or it was I thought there was going to be a moment where it was the whole family.
Yeah.
When they went back to the house.
Or the wife.
And Salika was inside the bathroom, and you know how he's pounding, he's losing his mind, and then he silences. I was expecting a moment where the door was going to open and the entire family was just going to be standing there with their arms crossed.
Yeah.
And they were all going to be like, you shouldn't have done that.
Oh.
And then like Allison Pill was going to be like, Cooper, get her. And I was going to be just like, oh shit, it's on. This is a family of psychopaths now.
Yeah, because there have been times in movies where they course correct.
Yeah.
They drift a bit and it's like, oh fuck, I don't know if this movie's good.
Those things I've seen before, but it would have been more refreshing for the movie at that point. Anything
to save it because it just gets worse and worse and more unbelievable.
Yeah.
The wife is the one that set them up because during the whole movie I'm thinking, how did they know that the FBI? How did the FBI know that he was going to be at this concert?
Yeah.
But
she made the anonymous tip and everything.
But again...
And it didn't even work. But then she sets up, I guess, a second trap at the house at the end. And...
Hey, you know your wife? She set a trap.
He should have came out right at that moment and be like, hey, man, you deceived me. I gave you a free shirt. I was nice to you. I was kind. I was cordial. But now, I'm in cahoots with your wife. And you know what she did? She set a trap.
God, I fucking... At the wedding, when after they say I do, and the Exposition Negro comes out in a tuxedo, hey, you married now. Your girl, she set a trap. Your marriage,
the trap being getting married.
It's a trap. This movie. It was. You know what? Now this would have been a good movie to see together. We didn't see this movie together.
This is what I'm saying. It might low key be a so bad it's good movie because I could rewatch this and laugh so hard at how ridiculous it all is.
I would have to be a little drunk.
See, I wasn't. I was dead sober watching this movie, and I'm like, this would have been pretty crispy, if you say, if I had a few drinks in me. Maybe, I don't know. I thought the same thing about.
What?
I'm going to say it.
Let's hear it.
I thought the same thing about Twisters.
Oh, are you still heartbroken over Twisters?
It didn't work.
Man, you know, but I feel like you've been talking about Trap a lot this whole year.
I was looking forward to Trap. I actually was looking forward to this movie.
The trailer was actually good.
I like the trailer.
I like the trailer.
It's again, it sold me on its concept and its premise. It just lost me with its direction in the end. And its writing. Shyamalan was the thing that made and broke this movie.
Well, so I will say this. In past movies, it's been a bit questionable to me where I said, oh, you know what? Like, this wasn't all on Shyamalan. This movie sucked, but sometimes the performances suck. Or maybe, maybe this was too ambitious. Like, I think The Last Airbender is too ambitious for one fucking movie.
Of course.
But I can say unequivocally, Shyamalan shit the bed. Like even his daughter, not a great actress, but you know what? There were some scenes where she was pretty decent.
Not the worst thing about the movie. Still.
Like also, by the way,
Shyamalan's direction. Yeah, and writing.
And all even bro, I just completely. This movie went beyond anger when they're at the house and they're eating deviled eggs, and she's like, do you want me to play a song for you? And they do another music video, basically. It's like, this guy is just, I mean, you know what?
He's being weird the whole time, and nobody else is noticing it.
Who, Josh Hartnett?
Yeah.
No, I was
like, why is he just acting like a serial killer in front of everybody? Yeah. And none of his family wants to say stuff. Thank God there were moments during the concert section of the movie where his daughter kept saying, "You're being weird. Well, you're acting weird."
When whatever his name is, Benny Blanco. What's his name?
Which character?
The dude that comes from out of the ground.
Oh, fuck it. Russ.
Yeah. Why did I say Benny Blanco from
I don't know.
Fucking Carlito's Way?
I don't
know. Benny Blanco comes out of the ground. And Josh Hartnett's like, hey, like,
we should go down there and see what's going on.
And his daughter's like, what?
Like, what
are
the fuck
are
you
you
talking
okay?
about? Like, literally, what the fuck are you talking about?
That actually,
and I was like, that was a realistic response. I actually appreciated that.
I did too, because it's realistic that he'd be so desperate to try that out. And it's realistic that she's completely like, clueless.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, like, what?
That's why the first half of the movie, I was like, this is working. Like, even the ridiculousness works well enough because it's suspense driven. It's very campy at the same time, but it's like, I want to see how this all plays out because he's thinking of all these crazy and ridiculous ways to get himself out of this. And again, it's like good balance between dumb luck on his part and strategy. And again, second half starts and then the movie just becomes all dumb luck and the script is lazy and messy. And I'm like, this is exposition. The concert should have kept going. There was a million other things he could have done that would have been interesting at the venue.
I think that you definitely completely rehash the second half. Like it's like what you said. Maybe 85% of this movie needs to be occurring at the venue where he's trying to escape or find some way to maneuver out of this venue, and then you cut exposition Negro, and maybe because there's a sort of
Lady Raven have an actual role, just keep her on the stage,
on the stage, and then the FBI lady, because there's a what do you call them? The person that's like analyzing.
Oh yeah, she was I was gonna say image consultant, but no.
Well, she's just
profiler. She's the FBI profiler.
She's the FBI profiler that is, she's caught multiple serial killers.
Like it was 12 or whatever they said
in
the movie.
Right, and I think that the best way you do that, like maybe the morning that they're going to the concert, they're leaving the house, and on the TV he's watching like CNN and they're like having like almost like a 60 minutes of like, oh, this is a famous like FBI profiler. She's caught these 12 serial killers. What do you think about today? It's like, well, there's the butcher that we're currently working on, but we'll see. And then he's at the concert venue and he sees all this police presence and he sees people that are like older men, like middle-aged men being escorted out of the venue, and he's walking around and he sees the profiler and then he thinks, oh fuck, they're looking for me. That would have been better, because then it's showing you instead of telling you. It's like, oh, like we know that who this famous FBI profiler is, and we're at this concert venue and there's this huge police presence, and then you see this old white lady with gray hair, and you find out that she's the FBI profiler. She's looking for me.
Yes.
Like, way better, a little more intense.
I think so, yeah.
Right? Like,
that probably would have worked a lot better.
We should have written this movie.
I know.
Let's
I mean,
rewrite this movie.
because it's like, it's a concept that's good enough where it's just like you'd make a few rewrites and it's a better movie. You don't have to compromise on the concept too much. And I want to say about the profiler character, she was played by Hayley Mills.
Right.
And the entire time before it revealed what she looked like, I thought it was going to be that woman from The Happening and Split. She plays the old woman at the end of The Happening, and she plays James McAvoy's counselor in Split. And I was so disappointed that it wasn't her, because she's been in Shyamalan movies before, and I was like, oh, she would have been great as that as the profiler in this. But that wasn't the case. But I was just disappointed that wasn't who it was. But whatever. The profile is just kind of in the movie anyway. She doesn't do anything, much. She doesn't have a character, but she's always kind of like the antagonist to the antagonist throughout the entire movie. But whatever.
Lady Raven's the hero.
I know. It's just like I would have rather spent more time seeing the POV of the profiler, but instead let's shift the point of view to fucking Lady Raven for an entire section of the movie. And I was like, okay, that's cool.
We don't have enough of our serial killer doing serial killer shit.
Yeah. I like those investigation components, like in movies. Like if they decided to like shift perspective just to see the FBI profiler trying to catch this person, would have been interesting. But one of the only point of view moments is when we get the profiler talking to Lady Raven.
Oh,
and that's one of the first moments where Lady Raven actually is not doing something on stage, and then that was the moment you realize, oh, she's also in on this. Yeah. And I was like, oh. Weird. Well, if I was a pop star, I don't know if I would even want to perform.
Like Lady Gaga, Taylor Swift, they're not gonna enter a venue where a serial killer.
Literally, it's just like the FBI's like, "Hey, we need you to do this. We got you." I'm like, "What?"
No, I'm canceling.
There's a freaking murderer here who's gonna try and kill people. I'm good.
Also, even just Josh Hartnett saying to Lady Raven, "Hey, can I talk with you in private?" Those people are never private, unless they are by themselves in a bathroom.
Right? I know that was the moment where I'm just like, she what?
This,
and she like also like, what? Can I talk to you in private real quick? And I'm just like, nobody would be like, yes, of course.
This pop star,
this huge, weird man that you've never met before. I'm just like this tiny little girl, just like, no, she's not gonna fucking go into a room alone with this dude.
Her representation is gonna say anything that you want to say to her, you can say to me around me too. Like where I'm being present, like bodyguards,
especially when there's a fucking serial killer like lurking around trying to get out of this place. Yeah, I'm like,
the writing sucks, so and I do give the actors credit because they do. Josh Hartnett is doing his best to lift this movie. Yeah, it's even the daughter's really good.
Most of the performances and the visuals are doing a lot of the heavy lifting in this entire movie because the writing and the directing, Mr. Shyamalan himself, is not really doing enough favors. But that's Trap. That's M. Night Shyamalan's Trap, and I implore Mr. Shyamalan. I want to say I appreciate you giving us a new original screenplay, but I'm going to implore you, take a few years off, my friend. Let your mind, like, kind of hone in on one idea for a while instead of churning out a million different ideas in quick amounts of time. I'm always going to be here for you, man. I'm always going to be here to love and support you. I'm always going to see what you got going on next. But, Mr. Shyamalan, you are a talented filmmaker who is just... Last few ones are just not really doing it for me. So, take some time off. Or I'll set a trap for you.
I actually...
You know that guy? M. Night Shyamalan? Well, he's got a new movie coming out, and we're trying to avoid seeing it. We're trying to avoid getting it released. So we set a trap for him.
God, that fucking... Oh, I fucking hate this movie. No, I actually just... The Shyamalan trajectory. I think we have more movies like this to expect.
Probably.
Looking at just his power, he wrote this movie, produced it, incorporated his daughter in it. Like, he has the wealth and pull in Hollywood to just basically make whatever movie like he wants to do.
And I applaud him for that. He's a filmmaker. He's clearly a born filmmaker who's just doing whatever he wants to do. And I can't fault him too much for that because I love artists and I love creatives like him. But, you know, focus on yourself.
Well, like if
you put your girls on, like, now move on, you know. Focus on what you're doing.
Well, there are some people like that where it's like, you know what, I've put in all my time in my career. I want to help out my daughters as much as possible. They're in their early 20s, and so let me boost them up as much as I can. And in it of itself, I have no problem with that. I think that maybe I would hope that most people actually feel that way about their kids, but man, it just doesn't make for a good movie. I think maybe helping your daughters be in good stuff would help more.
Just maybe not your stuff.
Sure, but
that's the idea.
Like they already have your name, and maybe that's
maybe Salika should be like in an episode of Black Mirror or something.
Sure, why not? Hey, fuck it, because once you've thrown her into the fire and make her such a huge focus in a blockbuster movie, or at least a movie with a wide release, then she's gonna be exposed to criticism that maybe just she doesn't want, or shouldn't want. Man, I think that we're just gonna see more of this, where there's like James Cameron. He made a lot of his wealth with Titanic and Terminator 1 and 2. And so he
takes his time. He always
True Lies. And right, like he has a lot of great movies, and so now he's become probably like 100 million or whatever. And he says, okay, you know what? The projects that I want to work on, I want them to be passion projects. So he's like,
and I'm going to take a decade to make each and every one of them.
But you know what? He made a great movie.
Yeah.
And he did a really cool documentary on like about the ocean. And that I thought was good. So he's only doing passion projects. Yeah. And hey, I really like Way of Water.
Way of Water is probably my second favorite movie. Yeah. After Aliens.
Yeah.
But
exactly. Like he did the Alien and Aliens. Like he's
good at making sequels. All of his best movies are sequels. Aliens, T2, and Way of Water. And the man is an artist at like sequels. I don't know how he does it.
He's made a lot of great movies, and so now he's made so much money, he doesn't have to make one of those movies to pay the bills. He's already paid the bills with his previous work. I think M. Night Shyamalan probably has gotten quite a bit of money, and so now this is just what he's doing with his free time, helping support his daughters, and there's nothing wrong with that, but he just made a shitty movie.
Just happens.
I will say the nice thing about, well, you know what? Trapper Watchers. Let's close on that. Which one are you taking?
Trap, easily. Okay. Visually, a much more interesting and innovative film.
Maybe that's
conceptually a better movie, and the lead performance is great.
That's another thing.
I don't have any of those same feelings about The Watchers.
If M. Night cared about his daughter,
wow,
careful. He would have put his name on Watchers and put his daughter's name on Trap. Because if this was a person's debut, I'd be like, you know what, like, this isn't bad for a debut.
Sure.
You know? Like, but as a person who...
No, this would have been good if this was, like, Ishana's debut film. I'd be like, honestly?
Yeah.
I see the potential here.
I see the potential.
Right?
and this is a person that is working with her sister. Like, I would actually prefer that more. It's like, this is like a sister's working together. Can you imagine?
There's an alternate world out there where that's what happened.
And your father wrote the script. Yeah. Like, I'd been like, okay, like, this is kind of tight.
Yeah. I'd be like, this is keeping it in the family.
Yeah.
Just like, that would have been cool.
Yeah.
Maybe they should try doing that in the future.
Exactly.
Like, if they're going to continue to all be working together like this, it's like, make it more of a family effort.
See, you thought I was going to say something offensive, but
Well, you did start that out with if he cared about his daughter, so.
Well, I think if you're gonna have this much support for your daughters, you need to be a little more intentional. And also, I don't know the inner workings of their family, right? So maybe, like, the other lady that's a director, maybe she just wanted to direct and didn't want a lot of influence, which is fine.
Like it, yeah.
But like, man, it would have been a better debut for a director, but this is not a good movie for a director who's directed a ton of. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. So not again. I won't say it's the worst that Shyamalan's done. No. But it's definitely nowhere near the best.
It's in the middle.
It's very middle of the range, and he's been very middle of the range for a while now.
But in the hands
I'm just kind of tired of it.
In the hands of lesser actors, this is in that happening range.
Yes.
Like if it's not for literally every other actor except for maybe the person that cast this movie deserves the huge
casting
praise.
director.
Whoever is the casting director, great job.
Well done.
Because you probably saved this movie.
Yeah, probably. Good job to the casting director and to DP. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that.
Yeah.
The person that did the cinematography also for a bunch of Luca Guadagnino films, like Call Me by Your Name and Challengers this year as well.
Yeah.
Very good director of photography.
Okay.
So director of casting and director of photography, MVP of this movie. Well done. So yeah, that's Trap, everybody. So we're hopefully not going to talk about Shyamalan anytime soon here, but
for 20 years.
20 years would be great. We'll see you in the next one. We're going to be gearing up for our month of Halloween here pretty soon, but other than that, the big new thing that we're going to do at the end of this or later this month is going to be Alien, the new Alien movie. So
Alien, we got maybe a House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon, we're going to be talking about that. Yes, we're excited. So get ready. We're streaming everywhere. Spotify. Check out our YouTube page as well. As always, send in any questions, comments, or feedback to the Leaf Pile. All that info is in the description. And we will see you guys on the next episode. Thank you for tuning into the Loose Leaf Media Podcast. Did this with my co-host,
Romanus.
And I am Davis Leaf. We'll see you next time, guys.
Bye.
Bye.